Hello, guys, and welcome back to another episode of You've Got Voicemail. How are you guys? This is your host, lunarrr. Hi. In today's episode, we will be talking about, or I'll be telling you some stories or situations where I felt quite. I don't want to say I felt loved, or I don't want to say I felt, I don't know, interesting, or I don't know, you could call it whatever, but I'm basically gonna be talking about situations where someone, or let's say where a man showed me interest. These stories will vary. Some freaking stories will be quite extreme and you'll be like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And then some stories will be like, what the fuck, this is so regular, this is like my everyday, why would you include this as you feeling special? But yeah, I don't know why, but like in that moment itself, I really felt like cute, and I just thought I'd share these stories with you guys. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay, so in today's stories, I will be talking to you from like the first ever to the most recent, okay? Um Okay. So there was this one guy that I was talking to online, and he was amazing. Okay, he was actually, he looked like a model. I'm not gonna lie. He was really hot. He had great freaking abs. Okay, and he was just like, he was amazing. He was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. He was okay, and he was kind of like written by a woman as well. Not really. I feel like written by women, men are quite unique. He wasn't really unique. He was manly, okay, but like not really. I don't know how to explain it, but okay, anyways. But he was really good. He was really nice. And I didn't really like him because I mean I liked him, but like I didn't like him as a man. I just liked him as a friend. And the reason why was because my heart was very well occupied with another man, and I just didn't see him as a love interest. However, knowing me, I am a mix of very shy slash a flirt. Like flirting is very natural to me. Okay, I love flirting. You talk to me, I would like, if you flirt, I'll flirt back. It's just very natural to me. I love flirting so damn much, and I don't know how I do it. But the only reason why I was flirting with him was because the man who was occupying my heart wasn't my man. He was my crush. So I was free to do whatever I wanted to do. I wasn't in a relationship. I was a single person that is allowed to do whatever they want to do. So I flirted with him. It was all cute and whatnot, but like I just flirted with him because I could. And he was so damn, like, I owe him a relationship, I'm not gonna lie. I owe him marriage, really, because he was, oh my god, I never was treated like that by a man before, like constantly. Like I've been treated like that by a man, but it was just like a guy who was in my class and that's it, or like a guy was in a coffee shop and he was like really nice to me and that's it. But like a guy that I knew him and he knew me from my freaking, like, you know, he knew me, like, you know, he knew things I like, he knew things that, like, he knew me. Like, he didn't just know the outer self of me, but he knows the way I think and shit like that. And he loved it. He loved it, and he treated me like a queen. I'm not gonna lie. Man. But anyways, I remember every time I would talk to him. He would be like, hello dear, or like, not even dear, but oh my god. And then sometimes he really insisted on like talking. He made me feel very important and special. I don't really want to give you a lot of details because I kind of forgot, but I just wanted to mention him. Okay, I just want to mention him, and that's it. But we will get a bit more into more interesting stories after him. Next, I will be talking to you about this guy. He worked in a cake shop or a pastry shop, if you will, and he was Greek. He worked there, and I remember that pastry shop was amazing. So I went there often. Okay, I have a sweet tooth, and I love my dessert. So I would go there often, and me and him, we would talk, and then I remember he was like, you're quite interesting. I want to talk to you like often. I really want to talk to you. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And I remember every time it was on a busy street or like a live street where I would use every day to go to town or like, I don't know, like to see friends or whatever. So I would often pass by the coffee shop, or no, it wasn't a coffee shop, like the pastry shop. And then I would see him through the window, and then he would see me, he'd smile at me, the biggest, fattest smile ever. And then he would wave at me as well. And he's like, hi. And it was like, it was so nice. And I remember it was my birthday. I think he was just like being friendly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bit quite delusional, to be honest. But yeah. But anyways, he would give me like a free dessert on my birthday and whatnot, and it was just like cute. And the thing is about me is that if I find, which it wasn't really a thing, to be honest, but if I find an icky thing about a person, I would have cold feet. I don't know how to call it, but I remember I found out that he was, I think 31 was he, and when this was happening, I was 20 going into 21. So I was like, Bryce, 31. Yo, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was really nice. He asked me out. He was like, oh, I would love to take you out like for coffee and just like keep talking to you. And I was like, yeah, sure. And then because I got a lot of butterflies and whatnot, and so I started like Googling him, because I just wrote his name. The thing is, with LinkedIn, you could find a lot of things. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just put his name and then the pastry shop, and then I found his LinkedIn, and his LinkedIn gave me his full name and then full name on Facebook, and then I just found out his birthday and his year of birth, and I found out that he's 10 years older than me, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm never going there again. And I never did. I'm such a bitch. I deserve every bad thing to happen to me because I keep letting good guys go. But he's like 10 years older than me, and I was a kid. I don't know. Like, I knew for a fact he didn't want anything serious. He would just want to talk over coffee. Because, like, I'm a political science student. So I love I studied philosophy and shit, so I really do like to talk about philosophical things. And he's Greek, he's from Greece, and God knows, Greek people, they love their they made philosophy a thing, so yeah, so we love to talk. And also he was a Gemini, so I'm also an Aquarius. Wow, I attract a lot of Gemini men, don't I? That's interesting. Okay, anyways, he was a Gemini, and yeah, again, I told you, I'm naturally flirtatious person. Me and him, we had a lot of things in common, which is like us loving to talk about philosophy. And he's a Gemini, I'm an Aquarius. Okay, so like a lot of things worked in our favor for us to have like a good chemistry. But I just got cold feet and it just never went again. I told you it was a life street for me. I used that route every single day for the past, like, I don't know, year and a half. I never stepped a foot in that street again because of him. I would take the longer route. I avoided that freaking shop at all costs. I am sorry. I'm sorry. If you're listening to this Greek guy, I am so sorry. I am sorry. You probably don't even care because you're like, what the fuck? Right? But I'm sorry. This is my apologize. Next, okay. My next story is with this guy that was riding a bike, okay? And I was just like walking on my nice little city walk, daily city walk, and I see, like, I don't know, there was like I was just walking, and then a guy tried to, I don't know, overtake me with his bike, if you will, and I just thought that he wanted to overtake me, but basically no, he just wanted to talk to me. And I was like, hey, and I was like, oh, hi. And to be honest, at first I thought it was the Greek guy because he looked like him. By the way, the Greek guy was also hot. He was really hot as well, but he was a different hot from the first guy. The first guy, he was just like a player hot, like, you know, he got the yaps, he got that freaking look, and he looked like he's in the club 24/7. He looked like a bad guy who had a soft spot for me. I don't know how I didn't fall for him, you know, the first guy. But anyway, the second guy, he was more of like a literature boy. You know, he had glasses on, he had a beard, and his clothes were like, you know, like a soft boy, like a nerd boy kind of. And he did marine science, and he's from Greece, and you know, he was very dreamy, and he works at a pastry shop, you know. So it was, they're two completely different people. And look at me, I should never complain about being single, to be honest, because I really did waste really nice years, really nice men. But anyway, so this guy on the bike, he stops me and he's like, you know, I walk and he walks beside me with his bike. And he just like kept on like talking, and he's like, oh, I think you're really cute. And I was like, thanks. And he kept on following me. And then he was like, can I get your number? And I was like, sorry. Like, to be honest, I really didn't. I don't know if you know this about me, but my left ear is so shit. I could barely hear anything with my left ear. So if someone is standing on my left side, I could barely hear them because they're kind of far away from my right ear, and we're in an open air environment. We're in a city. So I could barely hear a person who's standing on my left side. He was standing or like cycling on my left side, okay? And he was just like kept talking to me, and it's like couldn't really hear him. And it's like, number. And I was like, sorry. And then he was like, oh, do you have a boyfriend by any chance? And I was like, boyfriend. I was like, yes. I said yes. And then he was like, oh, are you for real? And I was like, yeah. I was like, so I can't get your number? And I was like, no. It was such a weird coincidence. Like, okay, you're so pretty, by the way. And he just like cycled away. And I was like, oh, you're so cute, man. It was kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie, because he's just like, I was walking, and I seemed quite uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. And I went on this alleyway, and he followed me as well, so I was like kind of creeped out. But he was like, oh yeah, I think you're so pretty. And then he's like, bye, have a good day. And I was like, oh, thank you. And yeah, that was cute, I'm not gonna lie. And there's this other guy where I remember me and my mom, we went into this coffee shop, and there was this guy. He kind of like checked me out in a weird way, so I felt a bit like, I have social anxiety, so I felt a bit weird. And I was like, fuck it, we're only here for coffee anyways, so just like drink and go away. I remember this guy, by the way, he was this disgusting. He was a creep. But I don't know why I felt like, I didn't feel special, but I felt like, oh, these things happen. I thought it only happened in movies, kind of, you know? And I remember, I sat me and my mom in coffee. I remember it was about time for Dune coming out, like doing the first series or part 1. And I remember I was like just like stalking Timothy Chalamet because he was posting a lot, and I was like, so yeah, we were just like looking at this Timothy Chalamet Instagram picture, and I was like, oh mom, look at him, he's so hot. And then out of a sudden, and then as we reached the end of me and my mom's talk, and we finished our coffees and we are ready to leave, this freaking guy comes like with his phone with his mom, like his mom on his phone, and he passes the phone to my mom, and he's like, oh, like they're like, take my phone. And my mom was like so confused, and she's like, what the fuck is going on? And then she takes his phone and she talked to his mom, and apparently his mom was like, well, my son just like saw your daughter, and she like he really likes her, and he wants me to talk to you so we could arrange something, and then we, like, you know, we could have your daughter. And I was like, what the fuck? It was so awkward. We were just like, it was a regular day. We were in Pret. We just doing our thing. And like, you know, you should always trust your guts. You know, your gut feeling is always right. And I didn't feel comfortable, and I felt very stirred by this man. But I was like, I'm gonna fight my social anxiety, and this is all in my head, and I'm just gonna sit through this. But I was right. But anyways, this whole time I couldn't really look at the guy, and he was just like, he sat there and he was like looking like he was just talking to my mom, and he was the most effed up man I've ever met in my whole entire life. The way he was talking it was so bad, and the way he was stressed, it was so bad, and we don't really understand why he like involved his mom in this whole procedure. Probably he was just a pussy, I don't know. But like, anyways, he was just like talking to my mom about the girls that he knew, and like how they didn't really meet up to his standards, but I do. And it was just like, you compare me to other girls that you knew once, and saying that I'm better than them isn't gonna make me fall in love with you. The contrary, it makes me hate you even more, because how dare you judge these freaking women? Because he didn't even judge them for things that, like, let's say they, I don't know, abused them or whatever, but no, they were just normal. Like, he judged one freaking girl. I don't want to say this because I feel like you might be in the same like shoes as the girl that he judged, and you'd feel like insecure about it, even though you shouldn't really. So I don't want to like really talk about it, but like, he was so effed up in the mind, and like making people insecure about things that it was just a normal thing. I didn't even think about it as an insecurity or something that people should be kind of embarrassed by or whatever. I just thought it was a normal thing. But he was like, well, she had that, and I really couldn't be with her because of this. And I was like, what the fuck, man? He was so effed up in the mind. But yeah, he was just like, keep talking and talking, and I was like, well, I have my apartment ready, and like what the hell? And he just like kept on looking at me like, it was just disgusting. But anyways, he gave his number to my mom. He's like, please talk to me after you talk to your daughter, because I didn't want to speak a word. And he just left, and then we left, and we still talk about it till this day. We're like, what the fuck was going on? Like, it didn't feel real. It felt like, who does that, right? You see these on like on freaking TV or stuff like that. You know, it doesn't happen in real life. You just don't think about it. And it happened. And that's why I'm mentioning this, because it was too crazy to me. This could be your everyday, but it was just like, for me, it was like, wow, like, shit. Another story was, I feel like I'm getting annoying now. But anyways, there was another story where I was just at uni doing my normal thing. Like, I remember I was skipping, it was either me waiting for a class or skipping a class. But I don't know, just sitting, and there was this dude sat across me, and he was just like kept on staring at me, and then I just didn't really pay attention. Like, I was like, yeah, whatever. And I was just like doing work. And then he came up to me and I was like, oh, what time is it? And I was like, oh, I think it was like 2 p.m. or whatever. And I was like, oh, it's 2 p.m. And I was like, okay. And then he left. And then next week, the same day, same time, I think, again, I was waiting for a class or like skipping the same class. I don't know what it was, but I was just like sitting in the same place. And then he was there again. And then this time he came to me and started talking to me about like all kinds of shit. Oh my God. And it's actually this kind of a crazy story, because he was just like talking and talking about every single thing in this whole planet Earth. Like, everything. He talked about like his childhood, his family, his siblings, his everything. Was like, oh, what about you? Like, how are your siblings and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah, cool. And then I remember it was just like kind of an awkward, and I do regret doing this. I really, really do. But like, and I'm really sorry for this little poor guy. But like, I remember I was just like, what the fuck is happening? So I just started recording him, like not video recording, but like voice recording. And it's like, maybe someone wouldn't believe me that this freaking guy just came up to me and he started talking about his every like his friends, his life, everything. And I was like, to be honest, right now I wouldn't really feel if someone came up to and talked to me. I'm more educated on like mental health and stuff like that, and I know like a lot of people are struggling of loneliness and stuff like that. So if someone came up and talked to me, I would have been like, I would be okay now, and I would listen and try and comfort them. But like at that time, I just didn't know, so I didn't know what to do or make of it. I was very like uneducated on mental health. And I remember when he came and talked to me, and I was like, I started recording him because I thought it was funny. And then he started like singing me love songs. And I was like, what the fuck? He just like started literally singing me songs. And he was like, yeah, so like, what are you doing next week? And I was like, what the fuck is going on? What the fuck is it? Like, it was so awkward. And the thing is, he went on for so long to the point where I forgot I was recording him. I just literally forgot. I just had my phone set on my lap and recording. And I remember I was like so uncomfortable of him like talking to me like about me, like if I was free or not, because I don't want to reject him. I hate rejecting people because I have a fear of rejection, so I don't want them to feel the feelings that I would feel if I would to be rejected, if that makes sense. So I looked at my phone and I was like, oh shit, it's like 3 p.m. I have class, I need to go. And the thing is, he looked at my phone and he saw me like recording, because I forgot that I was recording. And he oh my God, his face became so damn red. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. And then he ran away. And I felt so bad. This poor guy, he just wants to talk to me. And I just like, I traumatized him. He would never, I traumatized, oh my God. I still feel so bad, but still, like, he gave me the confidence, but he gave me the opportunity to tell people that, well, I do have a man who sang for me once, you know? And like, it's literally a movie again. And I ruined, and what did I do? I gave him trauma. I humiliated him. So this one was in London. Okay, I was in London for I don't know, like a week, and it was winter, it was cute, whatever. And then this freaking Japanese guy, he asked me to take his picture, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course. And then I took his pictures and whatnot. And then it was like in such a shock, because if you know anything about me, you know that my type is Asian men. And I'm not talking, again, I need to always like specify this, but not necessarily Japanese, any literally Asian man, like East Asian, is my type. I love their looks. I think they're the hottest men ever, in my opinion. And yeah, so I took his pictures and whatnot, and then he was like, oh, do you want me to take your pictures? And I was like, no, it's fine. And he's just like, it was night as well, and it was winter, and I was wearing like a thick coat with a thick freaking scarf around my neck, and it was like, oh, I don't know, like we just kept on staring at each other, and I was like, fuck, man, fuck my life. And then he was like, okay, then and then he was like, oh, where are you from? And then I was like, oh, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm Japanese. And then he was like, oh, okay, arigato. And he like bowed to me, and then he just like waved and went away. And then he looked back as well. He stepped away and then looked back again at me, and then I just watched him walk away, and it was just my heart still is in pain every time I remember, because like it could have been a thing, it could have been a thing, but whatever. I just need to be a bit more, I think I should have balls and just like start asking men out. I don't know, like men that I like. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe in 2024 this would be my resolution, to like step up and take actions when I want to take action. But anyways, we'll see. But at the same time, I don't want to be the one who, like, I don't know, okay, let's say I asked him out and then we became a thing. I don't want in our relationship to be like the one that I asked him out. I want to be the one who got chased. But whatever, I just have got issues. But anyways, so the second one is, these two last stories was when I was in Turkey. I was traveling, and oh my god. So I remember it was again late at night, and I was lost. I was so freaking lost, and I couldn't find my bus for my Airbnb, and I couldn't get a cab either. Mainly because they were really expensive, and I was like, fuck it, I've got my Metro card thing, so why would I pay a taxi when I've got that? And it's my last day, and I don't think I've got cash either. I don't think I had enough cash, and they don't take credit. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of lost, which is actually fun. I love being lost. And I was lost, trying to find the bus station. I asked for the bus station, they guided me, whatever. I find it, and it was really packed. And of course, you ask for help, and people do guide you, but you were still a bit unsure. You're like, maybe like they didn't care, they just pointed anywhere. You're still kind of a bit anxious, but it worked out. They were right, and they guided me to the right place. But anyways, I was like a bit nervous, a bit like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I find the bus, I go in it, and cute, right? Whatever. It was really, really packed, but whatever, it's fine. And I was like, okay, good. Okay, I'm going to my Airbnb finally. Tomorrow is my flight back home, and great. And then I find and then I look back every now and then at the screen to see like if my stop is the next stop or not. And I whenever I turn my head, I see this freaking hot guy is like staring at me, and I was like, fuck. Like, he was so hot. And Turkish people, you guys, Turkish people are so damn pretty. Like men and women, both of them, they're just so good looking. I don't know what for and like what the fuck, but they're so damn pretty. I think Brazilian and Turkish people and Indian, they're like the three top most beautiful people ever. But I think everyone is really pretty, so whatever. I think they're really pretty, like Indian, Turkish, and Brazilians, mainly because they're like there's a lot of cultures in those cities, and they get married from different people, and that's why they've got really pretty babies and whatever. But anyways, let's just keep going. So whenever I turn my head, I find him like staring at me, and I was like, oh God, please come and ask me out. Please come and ask me out. This is like my dream, is to find a man whilst I'm traveling and be a thing. Because I think that's just like the best love story ever. But anyways, and yeah, so I was like, okay, maybe like, come on, man, like come and ask me out, bruh. And I just like, I keep looking, and I was like, ugh, he's not gonna ask me out. And I get off, and voila, he's getting off in the same stop as me. And I was like, okay, he's about to ask me out. He's about to ask me, like, it's for sure now, right? And he just had the guts to fucking walk past me and just like walk away. And I was like, okay, why would you look at me? Like, right? What would you look at me? Why wouldn't you like come and ask me out, bro? It was so annoying. But I did, to be honest, this one time I didn't really fuck, what the hell's going on? It wasn't really like a guy showing me attention or whatever, but it was just like in my head, it was just like a whole love story in my head, and that's why I thought it was cute. But anyways, and then the third one is the most recent one, but it was also in Turkey, and it was, again, I was traveling. I just got off the airport, and I was in a taxi. The taxi dropped me off, and I've got a lot of luggage. I've got a lot of luggage with me because, you know, I love my clothes. I love my fashion. I want 2 outfits a day for my whole entire trip, okay? So I've got a lot of luggage, and the taxi drops me off. And you know, the one thing about Turkey is that it's quite literally a mountain, so there's a lot of ups and downs. And yeah, the taxi dropped me off with my package and my luggage, and I was still, I don't know where my Airbnb is. You know, he doesn't drop me off right in front of my Airbnb. You know, he's just like, this is the area, you go. And I was like, yeah, fine, cool. And he just dropped me off and go. And then there was this freaking guy with his friend. This one was like actually really hot, and he had long curly hair, and like so hot. And he was wearing shorts. I love men in shorts. And it was summer, and yeah, he was like sitting on the ground right across me, with his luggage. He had a lot of luggage as well. I think he was waiting for a taxi to, like, I don't know, maybe go to the airport, I don't know. But and then he looked at me like with a lot of luggage, and he didn't talk. He just like looked and kind of did this thing with his eye where like, or this thing with his face where like he's like, oh, would you like me to help you? And me being an alpha woman, like, I love taking control. I'm such a dominant person. Not really, I'm not. But I don't like not people, but men in particular to help me, especially doing things like physical strength or whatever. I just don't like it. So I was shaking my head saying a no, and I left as well. And then he was just like kept on smiling, and then I took my luggage and walked away, thinking maybe he will just like run after me and catch me and be like, really, like, would you like, can I have your number? And I was like, I waited and waited, but then as soon as I find my Airbnb and enter, and drop off my luggage, I quite literally run down and go back to where the taxi dropped me, hoping that I'll find him and be like, hey. But he wasn't there. Yeah, these are my little stories where I felt like I am the main character, even though in some of them I feel like they weren't really. Maybe I'm like not exaggerating things. Maybe in my head things were like a bit more lovey-dovey than they were, but I don't care, do little till I die. But also, I don't know. But like, whatever. But anyways, you guys, please let me know. Should I, if things like that would happen to you, okay, where you actually do like the other person, like in some of these stories, some guys, yes, I did hate them, and I was like, fuck you, like, not fuck you, but like, I was like, can you please go and leave me alone? I'm quite uncomfortable right now. But in some of them, I was actually hoping for things to, where's the climax, right? There's just like only the beginning. Where's the climax? There's no climax. It just like intro and end right away. And maybe I should take control and write my own climax. I don't know. But if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Especially if you're if you're living a very great love story right now, like one of my friends. I've got my friend, she's, oh my god, I fucking hate her. She's I don't hate her, but like she's the type of person, when you look at her life, you'd feel like she was born with a gold spoon in her mouth because everything in her life is perfect. Fuck, man. But anyways, she met her man while she was traveling in Australia, and she was like, oh, it was night, and he was approaching me, and then he was like, he asked me out, or like asked for my number or whatever. And I want that, I want what she has. And if you had experienced such things, please let me know. What did you do? Or did they just like find you and they approached you? Did you like smile at them? Did you like give them a hint that they should talk to you? Because I don't do that. I just like look and smile and that's it, really. I just walk away. But should I like act up? I don't know. Maybe I would. Whatever. But anyways, please do let me know, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I manifest you love and good energy and confidence, because that's what I manifest me, to be honest. Until next week's episode, I love you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye. I love you.
This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty. This boy be in my DM say I'm pretty. I wonder if he knows. I been knew that shit.